Hello, how are you, dear students? I hope you're fine. Yesterday we talked that every child has to go through the tough routines, the tough experiences of learning at school. They have to bear the strict supervisions of their teachers, and they have to bow before them, right? Today we will start with bow down before it, as in Joseph's dream. The sheaves bowed down, and then the stars bowed down. That dream got him such hatred of his brothers as cost the greater part of life to men. And yet great kindness came of it in the end. Okay? The writer was worried when he left his son at the door of first grade, but at the same time he consoled himself when he reminds the incident of the messenger Joseph, Hazrat Yusuf. Okay, what happened there? Bowed down before it, as in Joseph's dream. The poet makes his point vivid, clear, through an illusion, from the incident of Joseph, and then he means to say that in the beginning students suffer also, but later on they enjoyed the fruit of their hardships, or the way they would have tolerated all those distresses or tribulations or trials. The poet says that the prophet Joseph dreamt that sheaves means, what does it mean, sheaves? A bundle of grain stalks laid lengthwise and tied together after reaping. You can say it hosha. The sheaves bowed down as the Joseph messenger, the prophet, dreamed. And then the stars bowed down. Joseph dreamed that sheaves are bundle of grains of wheat, and stars bent down in front of him. Because of this good dream, he had to face the hatred of his stepbrothers. And they tried to kill him, throwing him into a well, as you all surely have seen the incident, the story of Hazrat Yusuf, the Joseph prophet. It took him a long period of life, is cost the greater part of life to men. It took him a long period of time or life to reunite or to correct. To mend means to repair okay, to restore, to stitch, right, to make something correct. Right? It took a greater part of life to make it correct, and yet great kindness came of it in the end. Okay? And during that time he suffered many difficulties, but resultantly, okay, he got, okay, happy ending. He faced happy ending, right? So the writer actually wanted to say that unless we face difficulties, we cannot, okay, we cannot pay back our fruit. We cannot get, okay, fruit. My child has disappeared behind the school room door, and should I live to see his coming forth alive away? I know my hope, but do not know its form, nor hope to know it. May the fathers he finds among his teachers have a care of him more than his father could. How that will look, I do not know, I do not need to know. The poet says that when, okay, his son entered the classroom, okay, he realized that he, okay, would not see him. He says that he has to wait for a long time, okay, to see his son completing his education. He at the same time hopes that his son will become a successful man at the completion of his education, and to see what would be his son, he has to live. He has to live, okay, to see his coming forth, what his son will become. Okay, I know my hopes, but do not know its form. But he does not know what he will be in the future, as nobody can, okay, predict the future accurately. Okay, especially when you are going to predict about, okay, someone else. He does not think it necessary to know, as he says, okay, I do not know, I do not need to know. He does not think it necessary to know what his son will be or what his son will become in future. But he prays, okay, but he prays, right, like may the fathers he find. He prays for his son that he, okay, would find caring, kind and fatherly like figures at school. Then he console himself, okay, then he console himself and says that neither he guesses, okay, neither he guesses nor he wishes to know what will happen to his son and what his future will be, okay, as he does not want to think about that? Because it is not necessary to think about. Okay, because fathers should facilitate their children. Okay, it is not necessary, okay, for them to think about their future in a sense that what will his son or his daughter will become. Even our tears belong to rituals, customs, but may great kindness come of it in the end. The writer, the poet says, as a father, that the tears he is shedding are the tears one sheds at such a time are, okay, ceremonial, are customary, are common, okay, as it happens when someone leaves, okay, when separation comes, shedding of tears becomes or is ritual or custom or ceremonial, right? He prays and hopes that great kindness may come of it at the end, okay, in spite of receiving bad treatment or in spite of passing through difficult trials and difficult situations, okay, as the Prophet Joseph was sympathetic towards them, their brothers, okay, so shall his son be, right? Okay, okay, here I repeat today's lecture. Okay, in today's lecture the speaker alludes to the biblical story of the prophet Joseph and his dream, which won him the hatred of his brothers. Joseph suffered because of his dream, his good dream, but great kindness came of it in the end. Okay, the speaker thinks of his own, okay, child again who has entered the classroom and disappeared. He thinks about what would become of his son after years. He hopes for his son but does not know the exact outcome, as nobody knows, right? He hopes that his son will find father-like figures among his teachers. Okay, in the last two lines, the speaker, the writer, the poet says that the tears shed at such time are customary or belong to customs or ceremonial, selfish, but he hopes for the great kindness that may come at the end, just as in the Joseph's case or situation. Okay, actually this poem describes the complex feelings of a father who is taking his son to school. It reminds him of his first day at school. He's worried about this leaving him alone, but at the same time hopes for a great kindness coming of it in the end, only if the child finds father-like figures among his teachers, okay, like that. So dear students, we have done with the reading section 1.3 September, and by completion of this lesson we have not completed the unit first. Okay, I have an assignment. The assignment is okay, you should listen to this clip again and again, and you ought to write summary to this poem as well as the central idea, okay, for this poem September, right? So do not forget, okay, to bring the summary and the central idea of the poem. Okay, thank you.